Let me cue something else to listen to. Hi, Cryptic. I'm just doing some. Hang on. Just doing some contracts, just to get us back into the feel of it. Oh, I'm messing this up now. Right, let's come away. Right, we'll do another approach now. Okay, we just get. Yeah, what I'm going. We got a tourist aboard, and then we'll. Yeah, we just got one tourist. We got two tourists aboard. They just want a suborbital flight and an orbital flight, and I just brought up some fuel. There we go. Got it. How close is that solar panel there? It's a bit close, isn't it? Actually, we could do those communication aerials because I got a spare fuel tank. Ooh, a tourist. We got a tourist. Yeah, a couple of tourists. We got a spare fuel tank um, attached to one of the tugs, and I thought this Kerbal pod has got the communications communitron. Is that a relay? Can we use that as a relay? So I'm just wondering if we could have another relay satellite. We could do with more relay satellites. Or is that just a normal communications aerial? Why have I put 4 on them? I think it's just because I wanted to have it balanced. I think this one's just a communication aerial. We need a relay. We need more relay satellites, really, don't we? All right, stick some fuel in. Put that there. Grab that there. Then we'll bring the tourist back, and then we'll try and do something. Well, we got a Kerbal to rescue as well, haven't we? All right, we'll bring these back now. I've been honestly struggling with meeting up with the space stations recently. Any tips? You're not the only one. I've noticed, it's got to be maybe 2, possibly 3 posts on Reddit recently about people asking to how to do rendezvous in orbit and docking. So I've actually been tempted to do a tutorial. I know there's other tutorials out there, but I'm just wondering if I can do it in another way. I mean, tonight I messed it up as well. I didn't do a perfect rendezvous either. The other thing I can suggest is going slowly. It's like this thing doesn't have perfect RCS. I tried to put the RCS around the centre of mass, but I think one of the problems I got with this one in particular is I've only got the one RCS puffer by there, and I've got 2 up by here. So there's slightly more thrust by here, but the centre of mass is down here. So you're supposed to get the RCS around the centre of mass, have the thrust and everything around. A tutorial would be cool, yeah. Try and do a simple tutorial. Trying to simplify it so that even new players can understand it. Because though there's a number of tutorials around, maybe they're not clear in some way, or they're not finding them or something. I don't know. So control from here. So yeah, I've been tempted to try and do a tutorial video. When I can find the time to do it. Yeah, but like I said, there's been a few on Reddit recently of people saying they can't do docking, which I found surprising. For my RCS thrutters, I use RCS build aid. Yeah, I think that does come in handy. I haven't used it myself. Maybe I should, because I got these RCS. I just try to randomly place them, or no, try to get them in the right place, but they're not perfect. It's actually a really useful mod, that is, a really useful mod. Because it helps with the centre of mass too. Yeah, it does. Okay, we'll do the deorbit burn and bring these Kerbals back. There, we got them back. Right, we've got to rescue this Kerbal, then we can do something else. We lost money on that. We lost money, but we did take stuff into orbit, fuel into orbit. Well, we do have the launch stage in orbit. I know it's boring me doing very similar missions all the time or contracts. Okay, sorry, I was just messing around with the other monitor. Right, because if I do a tutorial, do I start from here or do you start with the launch? Because I think the most crucial part really is to get the inclinations. Get the inclinations matching, because you've got these ascending node and descending node here. So on the ascending node, you've got normal and anti-normal. So ascending node, you need to do an anti-normal burn at the ascending node, so opposite the way of the node. I'm just wondering how I could say that in a tutorial. Like I could mention the gyroscopic precession, because Destin from was it Smarter Every Day did several videos on gyroscopic precession, whereas you do a burn here and it actually changes the orbit at the side because the inclination is different. But I'm wondering if we should launch into an inclination orbit that's an inclination that's even more exaggerated. But anyway, at that node where it says AN, you need to do a anti-normal. So the AN is ascending node and needs to do an anti-normal burn. I'll do it just before the node, and you can see it's decreasing, the number's decreasing, and the more efficient it's more efficient to do it at the node because that's the exact crossing point of the orbits to your target. So just a little bit of throttle and it'll start moving away from you. A little bit of throttle. And then when it's like 90 degrees off, you're perfect, fine. When the node is like 90 degrees from you, it should be 0, 0, and that's fine. And then you can start to prograde and retrograde burns to change your orbit relative to your target. See, our orbits here are more or less the same, so I'm just going to randomly raise the apoapsis or periapsis just to change our orbits so it doesn't take so many orbits in order to come alongside our... I actually didn't know that. Okay. What about the inclination or the orbit change? Because our orbit changes are more or less the same, because if we do a maneuver node here, it's going to take lots and lots of small orbits in order for this node to come around. Whereas if we change our orbit to be more different to our target, then it won't take so many orbits to get to our target. And I always choose the purple node. It's like I do this where you got the orange ones and the purple ones, so that our inclination is the most important thing. Inclination is the most important thing. Cryptic, just change your inclination, and then I think the rest might come to you. You can start just playing around with raising and lowering your periapsis and apoapsis, and yeah. So you see, if you're only close to your target's orbit, you just get the orange ones. The reason why I've got the orange and purple is that our orbits are actually crossing. So when you're actually crossing, you're not going to get close to it. You're actually crossing the orbit of your target. And if your inclination is the same and you've got the orange and the purple, your orbits of yourself and your target are actually going to cross rather than just getting close. And I just play with this maneuver zone. Played with the maneuver node. I always put it just to the right. And if we were doing like an orbit going the opposite direction, we'd just put it just to the left. But just to the right of... I always choose the purple one. I think the orange ones works just as well. And then set it a number of orbits in the future till it gets close. Right, and then we can do a little minor adjustment. 0.3 kilometers away. As long as it's within 1 kilometer away, then It's fine. Now we gotta. We gotta find a purple thing. Gotta find an orange thing. I'm looking for the. You've got to click on the dotted line, which is the orange ball thing, in order to get warp to next maneuver. But I think the maneuver we're doing is so small, we can't click on the dotted line. I can't click fast enough. I'm looking for warp to next maneuver. That's what I'm looking for. No, I can't do it. Can't do it. Go. Right, if we click on the. Oh, I can't get it. Nope, still missed it. There we go. No, didn't get it. Warp to next maneuver. Go. Okay. That was a bit awkward, but we did it. We only got 1.9 meter per second burn, which we can do with RCS. No, we do it as close to the node as possible. Zero 0.3. Oh, we haven't detached from here. I didn't realise. See, I'm making mistakes, aren't I? I'm making mistakes. Extends. Oh, I haven't even detached from here. See, it's me listening to podcasts at the same time as playing games. That's what it is. There we go. That's what's caused us a problem. There we go. Like that. Like that. Right. Right. I got a feeling it's going to take me like 20 bloody takes to do a tutorial on docking, because I'll keep making mistakes. I've been doing that a lot lately, making a lot of mistakes in Kerbal. Yeah, when coming alongside, you've got to make sure that your attitude, your is relative to target. So you've got relative to surface, relative to target, relative to orbit, relative to target to a retrograde burn relative to target. That's probably the second most important thing, I think, is making sure that you're relative to target when you want to come alongside. But when you do the maneuvers to come close, you need to make sure you're relative to orbit rather than relative to target. Oh, going too fast. Oh, see, what the hell? It's because it's still got warp on, that's why. I'm hungry, I think that's what the problem is. I got stomach pain. There you go. Any excuse. That's my excuse. This looks like a flying tuna can. So I hate it when I walk too fast. Yeah, and sometimes you go to hit the left arrow, right, to cancel the warp, and you end up going right past it, hitting the wrong one. A hi, Polish cow. We are rescuing a Kerbal. The Kerbal name's Jamie. A tragedy named Jamie. And then we're going to bring them back to the surface of Kerbin. If we stop making mistakes. The Kerbal's in there, apparently. Jamie and Miss. Okay. Jamie, though it's spelled in a way that you would find it on a tragedy bad name group. Jamie. Jaime? Just got to make sure we get it in the center of mass. So it could cause us problems on the way down, but it won't be that bad. Get dead on. My unit. Is that looking about right? Looks about right. Got him. There he is. Oh, she. It's a female Kerbal. All right. Okay. Jamie. Control from here. See, because whenever we grapple a pod with a Kerbal in it, or a command pod or something, it ends up putting our attitude on the nav ball relative to the new pod. So I always go back to the remote guidance unit and make sure we're controlling from there. Retrograde, and we'll bring them back. We're at a reasonably good orbit for doing the deorbit burn. F5 to save. Now we've got to recover the Kerbal back on Kerbin. So it's usually this desert here is where I do the deorbit burn. So we warp there. I'll scratch my back. Right, do an F5 before we do the deorbit burn in case everything goes wrong. Right, do the deorbit burn and we're aiming for... I put the habitation there because there's like a strip of land there. That's where we sort of aim for, at least I sort of aim for. Because the idea is to get as close to KSC, the space center, as possible. The closer you are to the KSC, the more money you can have back from recovered parts. So I'm looking at the moon over there. We've got to do more stuff with the moon. We've got a bunch of stuff on Minmus. We don't have much on the moon, do we? Half of it is junk. We've got at least 3 different stations we no longer use. I got random bits of fuel tanks. And we really need a lot more communication satellites. I've got 3 tugs in orbit. 2 of them are broken. One of them's a lander. We've got a lander somewhere in orbit. Asteroid miner, which we haven't done anything with, and things like that. A lot of it's junk, actually. A lot of it's junk, which we do bring back because it's a career game. I do actually try to bring everything back, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff in orbit. It's a 10-year-old save as well. This save is over 10 years old. I've got 1,800 hours playing Kerbal. Actually, let me check that. I'll just 1,760 hours. Sorry. How easy is the Kerbal chat to read? Because I was messing with the size of the text. I'm not sure how easy it is to read. Because that's a Python script that I'm running separately, and the funds should be running as well, because they're 2 different Python scripts. I got the funds up here, and I got the Kerbal chat up there. And the temperature down here is temperature in my room, which is actually running on a server that I've got underneath my a little Node MCU server I got run underneath my desk, underneath my monitor. Sorry, underneath my monitor. They're visible. Thank you for the feedback, Polish cow. Hi, Big Sparky. Oh, see, I just noticed that the Kerbals didn't reply to you when you say hello, because that's one of the things they're supposed to greet you when you come in, the Kerbals, but they didn't. I was messing with the chat script earlier. Okay. Oh, we've overshot it. Don't want to get in the water. I think it frustrates people when I'm in the water and I get the ship out to pick the down stages up. I have demonstrated that we've got a ship that can pick stages up from the water, but it does take a while, doesn't it, to get out there? See, I've never been able to get helicopters to work. I've never been able to get helicopters to work. Because if we could get a helicopter to work, we could go out and pick stages up out of the water rather than using the ship. But then the problem like we have in orbit, when you pick up something that's got a command pod on it or Kerbals on it, it changes the nav ball, so it might crash. A helicopter might crash. Helicopters are kind of weird, yeah. They are I think they're difficult to get. Well, at least I found a lot of difficulty in getting them to work. I haven't got one to work reliably. Because I don't think KSP was originally meant to be for things like helicopters. No, it's just another feature they've tagged onto the game. Yeah, the reason why there's lots of parachutes is because this thing can deorbit things bigger than just a single pod. Oh, we are warping 4 times. Come on. Like we had, yeah, Polish Cow's the new person here. I think everyone else. I think Big Sparky's seen the ship, haven't you? I'm sure Cryptic has seen the ship because we've got a big ship that can come out here. Several ships, in fact, that can come out to the water and pick the down stages up and take them back to the space center. But it takes a while to get them out, though. It takes a while to get them out there and get them down to the water. So I don't think we'll do it now. I mean, there's other live streams where I've had them out. Yeah. Oh, you have seen it. Thank you for the feedback, Big Sparky. You have seen it. It does take a while to get out here. So I wonder if we can have like a vertical takeoff thing with jet engines, and you can with a little claw in the middle, like a drone sort of thing, and it can pick it out of the water. There's something nostalgic about stock KSP with no graphic mods. Yeah, extra frame rate. That's what it is. Right, we got a new Kerbal. We got a new Kerbal. What was I going to do? We got another launch. We got launch stages we can bring back, or we can try and work do some experiments with other vehicles. Because one of the ideas I was going to do is a centrifuge. I was going to have a go making a centrifuge. We've also got launch stages to bring back, though. What's the time? It's 1:56 in the morning. What am I doing tomorrow? I don't know. Let's change retrograde. And we'll bring this one back. We have got the ship that we stuck wings on, haven't we? Because we haven't used that operationally yet, just done some tests with it. Because that's got lots of parachutes. The idea is we can fly out. I've tried making helicopters a KSP. It's difficult. It is. It's incredibly difficult. It's incredibly difficult. I don't know how people have done it, but people have done it. I guess that's something we need to work on, or I could work on. I've still got to go to the helicopter museum. There's a helicopter museum, like with about an hour and a half drive from me. Yeah, they apparently work good when done correctly. Yeah, yes. That does help. That does help. Yeah, there's a museum about an hour and a half. Oh, well, but an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours drive from where I live, and they've got a Bristol Belvedere, and that's the style helicopter I was thinking of, like like a dual rotor helicopter with a really long, thin fuselage, and say a hook in the middle, like the grappler in the middle. By correctly, it doesn't crash and doesn't kill Kerbals. He's tried to make a quadcopter, it didn't work. And it is, it's incredibly hard, even a quadcopter. You'd think like a quadcopter would be stable, but it's incredibly hard. Just getting the rotors working, and whether you have the collective work with the throttle or collective work in some other way. Yeah, by collective with helicopters, if you're changing the collective, it changes the pitch of all the blades together. That's what I mean by collective. And then you've got the speed of the rotors as well, as whether you're going to change the what's it called? The up and down with speed of the rotors, or you're going to use collective. Tried making a Chinook style and it didn't work. Yeah, I've done Chinook styles where I mentioned Bristol Belvedere, like a dual rotor thing. That's the sort of thing I've tried to do, and no, couldn't get it to work at all. Couldn't get it to work at all. Come on. No, and I can fly these back. They're coming in too fast. Coming in too fast. We have flown these back before, but that wasn't the best return. But we got it. Advice on making rockets in KSP. To get any advice, strap an engine on the bottom of a fuel tank, press space, and off you go. Right. Critical things are to get center of mass and center of pressure and center of thrust in the right positions. Because a lot of people talk about things going out of control or being too wibbly. No, not too long, not too thin, but just getting the centre of mass, the centre of pressure behind the centre of mass, the aerodynamic centre. Right, let's do a rocket. Let's do a rocket. Something without the remote guidance unit. Where's it? There. Right, you've got the RC. This one's the basic remote guidance unit. I believe this is the smallest one that'll give you all the controls, all the prograde, retrograde controls. So stick a fuel tank, stick an aerodynamic. No, what are we going to do on it? We're going to stick a thing. Parachute. Stick a parachute on it. Get a fuel tank. Sort by mass. Stick a long one on there. Stick a long one on there. And stick an engine on the bottom. Just use any bloody engine. Swivel, that'll do. Right. So you've got the centre of mass. You've got these three controls down here. You click the first one that looks like a weight and gives you the centre of mass. And the centre of mass can change depending on whether you've got fuel in it or not as well. And the same with monoprop. The monoprop can change the centre of mass. And you've got the aerodynamic centre, because we don't have any wings on there at the moment. The aerodynamic centre is hard to see. But if we stick some wings on here, is that the smallest one? Got that one there. Right, you've got the centre of pressure. Right, the aerodynamic centre, which is the centre of thrust, aerodynamic overlay, the centre of the aero, which is the blue ball. The blue ball has to be behind the big yellow ball, behind it. Because if the blue ball is in front of it, it's going to flip around. It's going to flip around and go out of control. So this is why you have put fins on the bottom to keep it stable. So that's one good tip. That's a lot of tip that I think beginners wouldn't make a mistake on. What else can we do? Just tidy that up a bit. Getting into orbit, as long as your periapsis is over 70,000 is where you get into orbit. I mean, I've actually built an aircraft. I've built an aircraft with a ore tank on it, and the ore tank is on a piston, and you can move the piston back and forth to change the centre of mass, and so you can make it really difficult to control or really easy to control. I'll show you that in a minute. I just want to fly this thing. Right. So once you're launched, you've got the controls down here to move in different directions. If you go over the sea, go in a easterly direction, it takes less fuel to get into orbit than if you went in a westerly direction. That's another tip we can mention. But this thing doesn't have the fuel to get into orbit. It's only got 2,386 meters per second. I think we need like 4,500, isn't it? About 5,000 would be perfect to get into orbit. This figure down here, which says 2386. SAS, we got no power. We're out of power. Hang on, where's the hanky? I need to sneeze. Yeah, batteries work too, and solar panels. So I have some power on it. We'll stick some power on it now and fly it. Come on, load. Power. Let's go There, put that there, that'll do. Or you're not going to run out of power. Apollo Frito. 5,000 is enough to do a moon flyby even. Yeah, it's best to have too much than too little. No, that's a good one. It's best to have too much than too little. I mean, I bring back the launch stages. Right, pressing T to put SAS on. Throttle. Move throttle up and down. Space to launch. Oh, I didn't check staging. That doesn't help either. And staging doesn't work. I know, I didn't even check staging. See, that's a mistake. That's a beginner mistake. Not checking staging. So we've got the parachute and the engine fired at the same time. See, that's a silly mistake. That's a silly mistake. That's a silly mistake. Right, let's bring that back. It's going to crash. It's a career game and all. It's wasting my money. It's wasting my career money. Such a classic too, yeah. Check your staging. Hang on, we got to get this to fly at least once, and then I'll try and find the aircraft where I can change the center of mass. Right, so what we're going to do, we're going to press this little plus, and then we'll stick the engine in the bottom. So press space, it fires the engine. Press space again, it fires the parachute. It's a very basic rocket. Launch. Right, press T to put SAS on, throttle up, press space, and now the parachute won't fire at the same time. Straight up. Send it slightly eastwards, because if you'd have a bigger orbital class rocket, you send it eastwards, because it's easier. It uses less fuel if you went eastwards once you got into orbit. So that's the direction you want to go, like that, over the sea, with the 90, where it says 90 on the nav ball. And then you can change the maneuver node down here. It shows you apoapsis and periapsis. So once you get those two over 70, once periapsis is over 70, you're in orbit. But this hasn't got the fuel to get there. And it doesn't have much control anyway, because it's only got a little control core, and it's only got a little engine on it. There's a swivel in it, yeah. Yes, it is swivel. Again, I'm not going to get the aircraft out to pick it up because it'll take too long. Actually, I'll leave it out. Yeah, I'll leave it out because I stuck wings on one of the boats, didn't I? And I wonder if we could use this as an experiment to pick it up. All right, we'll do that. We'll do that. I'll leave this out here. I won't recover it. Get it to lay down at least. All right. Right, let's go back to the Space Center. We'll leave that there for the time being, and we'll experiment with the boat we stuck wings on. Right. So I mentioned there's an aircraft I made with where you change the center of mass. I don't even what was it called? What was it called? I can't remember. Fish. I don't think it was called fish. Fish. Nothing called fish. You can make boats in this game. Yeah, you can make boats. They're not real boats. They're I'll show you now. What's it called? This is our recovery boat. What it is, they're fuel tanks. They're fuel tanks. And they float. The fuel tanks float. So we trundle down to the beach with this. We launch this, trundle down to the beach, and then it'll float. And we can go and then we got these here. You got these grabbing units, so we can pick launch stages up out of the water and bring them back to KSC. Because this is a Korea game, the money matters. The amount of money we've got matters. And what was the money sound there? You can get money back from recovered parts, and the closer to the runway you can get recovered stages, the more money you get back for them. So this is why I made this. Do you have submarines? Other people have made submarines, but I haven't successfully made submarines. Like I did a Trieste, but I haven't never finished it. Trieste. What did I call it? Did I call it Crease or something? Can't remember, but I did make one. I'm not even sure where it is, or even if it's in this save. It's going to take me half an hour to scroll down here and find it. Oh, one of the other boats has actually got a submarine on the back, but I don't think I ever used it, did I? Was it this one? There, see, I did this is another one of the boats, and it's got like an experimental submarine on the back with ore tanks. And I think it'll sync with the ore tanks, because the ore tanks are full of ore, and then you can once it's launched, you can jettison the contents of the ore tanks, and it'll float again. That's the idea. But I don't think I ever tried it. What are we doing right now? We're going to. I was looking for the aircraft that changes centre of mass. See, these are some of the helicopter experiments I was doing. Oh, there you go. There's the Trieste sort of bath escape analog I was trying to do. I never finished it with the ore tanks by there. But I got a feeling this would go float upside down rather than the right way up. It would need some sort of flotation thing on the top. So Where's this aircraft that changes central mass? Sorry, you're just going to spend half an hour scrolling down now. Scroll, 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 scroll. Sorry, I just can't find it. Where is it? Scroll, scroll. That's it. That's it. That's a CG mover. There you go. Got this. Yeah, I made this in a live stream earlier this year. The idea is it's got an ore tank on a piston, and it can move the centre of mass forward and back. What Kerbal is brave enough to go in there? Valentina. Valentina is a brave Kerbal. It's always Valentina because she's the first highest ranked pilot. So if you remember what I was saying about the centre, I should have shown you just then, but I didn't. The centre of mass and the centre of pressure. You've got to get the aerodynamic centre behind the centre of mass. With aircraft, the further away the centre of aero centre is, the harder it is to control, but the closer it is, the more manoeuvrable the aircraft is. Right, so we've got this, and the idea is we can change that, and then it moves the centre of mass backwards, and it makes it uncontrollable. This aircraft becomes totally uncontrollable. So let's press F5 in case Valentina gets into trouble. Is there enough power? There's enough power. It's fine. It's fine. I know the engines could be a bit bigger. It's fine. It does work. I have tested it. Famous last words. I know. F5 again. Right, I've just set the trim. I've set the trim. Yeah, if you're new to the game, if you hold Alt and you can use the WASD keys to change trim, because if you see this, the pitch marker is no longer in the middle. And the elevator's slightly moved and my hands are off the keyboard. That is to trim it out, so it's possible to fly it without SAS on. Because reaction wheels are disabled, aren't they? Where's reaction wheels? Toggle torque, where is it? Disabled. See, the reaction wheels are disabled. Disabled. So you can disable the actual reaction wheels. F5 again. Right. Press space to start the engines. Throttle up. Release the brakes. Because if you get the centre of mass and centre of pressure in the right place, you don't need the SAS. It's perfectly stable. Yeah, we could do with a bit more thrust, couldn't we? Could do with a bit more thrust. There we go. Flying perfectly well. SAS. No, there's no torque. There's no reaction wheels. No SAS, and it flies perfectly fine. The thrust is, outside the centre of mass. Yeah, if you're doing spacecraft, you've got to make sure the thrust goes through the centre of mass. But actually, with aircraft, it's not as important. It's like if this is spacecraft, you have to make sure the engine is towards the middle, going through the centre of mass. But it's not as important with aircraft. All right, grab some altitude. So we got this ore tank that's full of ore in the middle. You can hold out and change the trim. Just trim it out a little bit, make sure it's flying well. Right. Because if we move this piston now, to move the ore tank back, it moves the centre of pressure behind the centre of mass behind the centre of pressure, and it becomes next to impossible to control. See, you can fight the pitch all you want. It's really hard to control. Try and get it and keep going in the same direction. Let's see if we can land it like this. See, every sort of pitch input is exaggerated. You won't convince me that's just black magic. How helicopters fly is black magic, I tell you that. Yeah, see, you got no control, just trying to get it in the right direction. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell, isn't it? And 26 meters per second. Nine. And there's me saying it's hard to control, and look at it. It's we're doing quite well. I really need to put this and make this model public, because it's all stock, I believe, isn't it? This is all stock. Hi, Lucas. See if we can land it, is it? Yeah, it's difficult. Why is there a piston? The idea is to move centre of mass. Because the ore tank is full, Sparky. The ore tank is full of weight. It's full of ore, so it's a heavy weight. And the idea is to move the centre of mass further back and make it harder to control. It gets much more stable once the piston is moved forward. It becomes much easier to control. It's stable, and it's harder to control when the centre of mass is moved back. See, suddenly it's really easy to control. Yeah, it's much harder to control. It's much harder to control. Yeah, it's much harder to control. Right, let's move it forward again. I remember I got the mod I was working on for the Kerbals to bail out. Yeah, that little exit button by there is a mod I was working on. You click it and the Kerbal's supposed to all jump out of the craft that they're in. They're all supposed to jump out and enable their parachutes. The little exit button there. I mean, if anyone is new and wants to try, you know, if you've got a sandbox game, try making an aircraft. You don't have to have this sort of piston setup. Try making an aircraft with the centre of pressure just behind the centre of mass, and then make an aircraft with the centre of pressure just in front of it, and see which one flies and see which one doesn't. I mean, that's one of the good things about Kerbal. That's what makes Kerbal such a good game, is you can experiment like that, and every experiment, every failure, every crash, you're learning something. It's like, oh, that didn't work, I'll try something different next time. Even if you crash every flight, it's like, oh, yeah, even if you intentionally crash every flight, like, well, that didn't work, I want to do something different here or something different there. I mean, it is primarily a physics sandbox game. I'm coming in a bit fast, actually. You can see down here I'm changing trim on the fly as well. And then once you get a vehicle on the runway, if you do a recovery, you get 100% return funds from recovered parts. Like, to demonstrate now, so the wheels, the position of the landing gear needs to be between the centre of mass. The centre of mass is slightly in front of the landing gear, and the centre of pressure is slightly behind the landing gear. That's how you normally do an aircraft. That's why the main gears are where they are. But if we move the centre of pressure, the centre of mass backwards, the aircraft will fall backwards. Boom. And then move it forwards and go forwards. Right, let's recover. I was experimenting with sticking wings on one of the boats. We got that down stages in one of those down stages in the water. The wings that we stuck on the boats with the wings can't take off from the water. So we can try and go and get that down stage. But once it's quicker to get out there, but then we can always bring it back just via the water. I'll show now if I can load it. Open. This monstrosity. Was this the one we... No, we got a different one that actually works. This one doesn't work. This one doesn't work. We got... It's a phone notification. Recovery. What did I call it? What did I call it? This thing, isn't it? This one. This one's the one that worked. Yeah, I believe this one's the one that works. So let's go without any Kerbals on board, even though we could do with an engineer just in case something breaks. I could never get trim to work. I mean, if you're using trim, don't use SAS and don't use torque. Don't use torque. That's my recommendation anyway. All of those look cool. Let's see if we can fly this. Because I think if you've got SAS on, trim won't work. Because SAS will always keep centering your elevators or trying to get the aircraft to follow a path, wouldn't it? So use trim without SAS. Right, it's F5. Right, no SAS, we'll set trim. This thing, I think, doesn't take off till the end of the runway anyway. Because I think the main gear aren't far enough forward, but I don't want to put it any further forward because we still have to recover it on the beach. F5. Let's see how far we get. We've got the down stage in the ocean. Right, throttle up. Brakes off. What is trim? Trim is the elevators. See the elevators? My hands are off the controls at the moment, but the elevators are slightly moved. Because if you have, say, an aircraft that's always going in one direction, or you've got a pitch, roll, or yaw, and it's always like drifting in one direction, the trim will get it to hold a certain attitude. Because it moves the flight controls slightly, and you can take your hands off the controls. That's what trim does. Right, 27, 25. You can see how far we got to go to this downstage. I can't land this on the water without breaking it. That's one of the problems. So the idea is we can land this on the water with the parachutes. That's why there's so many bloody parachutes on here. Yeah, see, my hands are off the controls, but if you can see, the elevators are slightly moved. My hands are off the controls. Down here in the left-hand corner, you can see the elevators are slightly moved. That's what trim does. That's what you do trim, so you don't have to keep messing around with pitch and that, and it gets aircraft to fly straight, even when aircraft not meant to fly straight. I live close to a small airport, so I often watch small planes fly over. Yeah, that's good, Cryptic. See, if you went to a flying school, maybe you could talk to the flying school or something to get you sit in a small aircraft, and actually the aircraft will have a trim wheel in the middle of the controls. Or a lot of modern aircraft have got a little switch on the control stick instead, a little electric switch. But older aircraft, like I used to fly, we used to have like a big plastic trim wheel in the centre of the console. Like in Cessna 150s and 172s, there's a plastic trim wheel, and you move that, and it moves the trim on the rear elevator. But a lot of aircraft only have, a lot of small light aircraft only have pitch trim. They don't have trim on the other control surfaces, or at least a lot of older aircraft do anyway. Right, another problem with this aircraft, the Kerbal thing I made, I can't take off from the water. So, oh, you took an aviation class in high school. That's cool. That's cool. That's really cool. I'd love to have done something like that in high school, or secondary school rather. Yeah, so we're going to try and land this on the water. I've been unable to land this on the water without parachutes, because it'll just break up. Yeah, I honestly don't know how other Kerbal players manage to get aircraft to actually land on the water in one piece. so I just use the parachutes. And this has terrible pitch up when the parachutes get fired. I think it's just due to the momentum. It just looks funny when all the parachutes come out. We need enough parachutes to get it down safely. It's on the water. Right, shut down these engines. Shut down these engines. And then just like the other boats, what I'll do is I'll manoeuvre close on just these engines, on little Weasleys at the back. Yeah, we'll try and pick up this little stage out of the water and then take it back to KSC. I mean, how long? We're quite far away, actually. We're quite far away, so it could take a while to come back. Sorry, I have to cough a little bit. If anyone gets bored, we could always just recover it. Yeah, ships are slow to maneuver accurately. Plus, we don't have rudders on this one because it's meant to fly. I mean, underwater rudders. Don't think it makes a difference. Well, I'll use the reverse thrust now to do it, to get it to pivot on the spot. Concentrate. Got these little pistons down here to try and move, things into the center. Biplanes mostly been fine when they spontaneously become boats. Spontaneously. Yeah, it's totally planned. They're supposed to become boats. Mind you, planes that are always... In real life, planes that are also boats are quite cool, aren't they? So I'm using reverse thrust now to slow us down. Come on. Yeah, like a consolidated Catalina, or a short Sunderland or short Solent or something. This is only a small stage. We usually pick up bigger stages, don't we? There we go. Holds it in position like this. Arm that. We'll put that telescoping thing there. Should arm that one as well. On that. Put that one there. Got it. Let's bring it up. So we hold that in position. Right, alright, set that to same vessel interaction and same vessel interaction. Same vessel interaction. That should hold it steady. Hello, it's you again. Hello, Gary Blue. We're messing with this thing. It's the first operational use of the flying monstrosity. We picked up a little test stage out of the water. The problem now we've got is, right, control from there. Problem now is this hasn't got the power to take off from the water. Hasn't got the power to take off from the water, so we're going to have to go back to the KSC via the water. So it could take a while because you're risking it for the Kraken. We'll try and take off, but it won't take off. I've done it before. It won't take off, so it's going to take us like half an hour to get back, because it's quite slow on the water. But it did work. It worked. Gary Blue, he flew this out just now and then used the chutes to try and land next to the stage in the water, and that worked. Another thing is, when you're on the water, you can only do a quick save when your speed is under about 0.5 meters per second. So you can't do a quick save. So you gotta like wiggle it back and forth a little bit. Make a VTOL, that's what we want. Yeah, we were discussing it earlier, Lucas, actually, helicopters and VTOLs, and how difficult it is to make. I have tried, but I haven't been successful. Because it would be good if we had a helicopter or VTOL to come out here and pick something up. Can you return to ship? SHP. Yeah, we could just recover. We could just recover this if we wanted, yeah. We could just recover this. Or at least get us a little bit closer. We'll get a little bit closer. We'll see how long it takes and see what speed we can get up to. I just want to do a quick save first. That's why I'm wiggling it back and forth, so that we can try and slow down and do a quick save. Because you can only do a quick save under a certain speed on the surface. So it's 0.8 meters per second still. 1.7, 1.6, 1.5, 1.4, 3. Right, can we do it now? F5. Cannot quick save while moving over the surface. Cannot quick save while moving over the surface. Cannot quick save while moving over the surface. Still 0.4 meters per second. Right, there you go, there's 0. F5. It's difficult. I was trying a couple of times to make helicopters and it never works as intended. No, it doesn't, does it? It never works as intended. It never works as intended. I've never been able to get helicopters to work, and I just get really, really frustrated with helicopters. Right, that's it. F5 again. Stick the other engines on, activate engine, press Z and off we go. So I'll try setting trim, but we're not going to take off from the water. It never takes off. I've tried it before. There's too much drag from the sea, and yeah, we can't take off from the water. Does status still work? There's status, hang on. Status. No, status still isn't working. No, status still isn't working. Well, I think we tried to build them like real helicopters, but in KSP is not real life. Yeah, that's there's the problem with rotors is they don't display centre of thrust. No, they don't. That's another thing. Yeah, that's another thing, Lucas. They don't display central thrust. 64.8 meters per second. Hang on, we got a rocket engine there. We got a rocket engine there. Oh, there's no fuel in it, is it? All right, it doesn't matter. Yeah, so it's 65.1 meters per second as fast as we're going to go. So we've got 26.6 kilometers to go. All this was just a tiny little test stage. Full of 40%, 48%. I have made a VTOL plane with mods. It was quite hard. Yeah, no, I'm sure there's a technique. I'm sure there's something that, like, I think there's a thing where you can have like a control port or something on top, and you can click control from here. You can actually have a quadcopter or a VTOL or something, and it'll automatically always face up. But I don't know how to do it. No, you can have something on top. I mean, people have done it. It's got to be possible. It's just really difficult. My cat is snoring on the buffet under my desk. Right, what's the time? What's the time? It's 2:52 in the morning. Bye. Oh, you going, Sparky? All right, I'll see you after. See you again. Yeah, once we get this back to KSC, I'm gonna stop streaming because I'm hungry, and I mean, I've been streaming for 2 hours 22 minutes. Yeah, I did 5-6 hour streams before. I think on Twitch I've done a 12-hour stream on Kerbal, I think. Downloaded my Kerbnote Lite. It's a notepad built in KSP, very handy. Also have alarms for low resources like Terrarian alarms. No, terrain alarms. We pull up too low gears. That's a really good mod. That's nice. That's a good idea. Notepad. I think the closest stock thing to what used to be a rocket or jet engines. We're not sure what jets would have enough thrust. I mean, there were jet test things in real life. You had like the flying bedstead. No, where you just hover on jets. I mean, you got Harriers and things. And was it the Yak-38? Wasn't it? The Russian VTOL was the Yak-38. Yeah, you had the shorts. What was it? The shorts SB. I can't remember. Shorts something. Those that had 5 jet engines, 1 for forward thrust and 4 for vertical thrust. Did you try to bounce up and down to try and glue it from the water? Yeah, it makes no difference. It makes no difference. So, we just risk breaking things. Yeah. Makes no difference. We're almost there anyway, almost there. Time to do some sketchy stuff. Maybe the jets at the front elevated. Yeah, it's possible. It's possible the jets at the front, like they're putting too much downward pressure, like downward pitch. It's possible. It is possible. I mean, we could try and change this design. But you'd think with the engines there and the wings above, we might have some upward pitch on the wings, but I don't know. Well, we could just try and angle those engines up slightly. Angle the engines up slightly to have a bit of vectored thrust. Yep, on hinges you can change the vector, the thrust vector up. Yeah. Or have them on hinges, maybe. Yeah. You could have like a little wing. All right. We're having ideas. Or separate engines facing down. Yeah. Yeah, have separate engines on it somewhere, so just try and have a little bit of vertical thrust. Or just like, I was thinking like having thuds on the side or something, just facing down, just to get us out of the water, and then once we got enough speed and aerodynamic control, or just the lift? What I was thinking is probably the simplest is just take these big engines, the main engines, and just tilt them up by a couple of degrees. So that some of the thrust is gone into vertical lift. Just like a degree or two, just a little bit. That's what I'm thinking might be the simplest. What is the purpose of this plane? Well, this is our recovery ship, Gary Blue, to recover stages out the water. And because it takes so long for us to trundle out there on the water to pick up stages, I wanted to fly out there. That's why I stuck wings on it. See you, Cryptic. Thank you for being here. Yeah, I'm going to go in a minute. Yeah, the purpose is just to get us out to pick up down stages, because we just picked up a stage from the water. And if we go, if it takes less time to go out there and get it, we're more likely to pick up stuff from the water. Yeah, problem is that they would clip if not extended down. They would probably be wobbly. Yes, probably. Right, now we're on the runway. We'll do a recovery now. So we'll get 100% of recovered parts. So that little stage earlier, we were doing a demonstration. And yeah, it's now back on the runway. That recover vessel. Probably still the best option. %% recovery. There you go. Parts. 100% value. Yay! Right, if we stick like a version B, right? We've got a version B. We'll do a version B. Right, we've got these Goliaths here. Oh, the Goliaths, and yeah. Get rid of those. Put it over there. Just get rid of it altogether. Where's robotics? See, one of the ideas when Lucas mentioned hinges, I think I was going to do something like this. You know, stick a hinge and have a little wing section on the hinge, and then you can move the engine on a hinge. But then there's the engines. There you go. But then the other idea I had was to just select the engines and just like move them up slightly, just like a little bit, just a tiny bit, and then that's going to move some of the thrust. Some of the forward thrust will be into vertical thrust, be converted to vertical thrust, so it might help us take off from the water. Gary Blue mentioned it first. Oh, Gary Blue mentioned, what was that, the hinges or the engines? See, that might help. That might help. Just put the engines up like just a degree or two. Well, this is the easiest to test, isn't it? This is easiest to test. So we've got to be able to take off from the water. Hinges. The other thing is we can have things like a where is it? It's a thud. We can have thuds on the side. Can I have get like that? Stick some thuds on the side. And then just see if that gets us out of the water. These have only got liquid fuel in it, though. We'll have to stick some rocket fuel tanks on it somewhere. To stick some rocket fuel tanks on it. What's a small rocket fuel tank? This thing's getting worse. I don't like the clip-in, to be honest. I know I said that before. I'm not fussed on the clip-in. Yeah, the fuel gets to it, doesn't it? Yeah, fuel gets to it. Well, there's one way to see if this will work. Yeah. Central mass, central thrust, central pressure. All right. Save that. This is B, isn't it? It's not A. Make sure it's B. Make sure these are shut down. Gimbal free. Show activation toggles. Well, yeah, hang on. We'll have to get them in staging, wouldn't we? We'll have to have them in staging. There they are, they're up there. All right, okay. So they'll only fire after the chutes have fired. Right. Save. It's just this thing's insane, isn't it? Oh, hang on, there's Kerbals aboard. There's going to be Kerbals aboard, is there? I was thinking just the engines at the front so that it tilts up. Oh, yeah, that might work, Lucas. That might work. That might work, actually. And probably don't even need rocket engines. You probably just need jet engines. You know, that actually might work. That's probably a more sensible option. Oh, no, there's no Kerbals aboard. That's good. That's good. There's no Kerbals aboard. Right, F5. Set some trim. Put throttle up. Throttle down, rather. Start the engines. Throttle up and see what happens. fly it around a bit just to try and get some weight from the... I mean, it's flying. It is flying. Define flying. Right, if we do like a circuit and try and test it by there. It's like sitting on your front porch and flying a house around. And that's a famous quote about a B-36, as like sitting on your front porch and flying your house around. That's microphone. Mysteriously airborne, if you prefer. Mysteriously airborne. Try to bleed off some speed. Oh, to reset trim. I should have said Alt and X to reset trim as well. To when the others were here. Okay. F5 because we're going up 0 over the surface. Right, so what are we going to do? We're going to set trim, put the throttle up, and then when we hit space, the rocket engines will fire, and something will happen. Whether it gets us airborne or not, I don't know. Something's going to happen anyway. Right, maximum throttle. Get up to speed, what was it, like 65 meters per second we got up to? $60, $61, $62. 63, 64. Yeah, it essentially makes no difference. Yeah, it's not going anywhere. All right. Anyway, that's a problem for another day. Anyway, I'm a bit hungry now. I want to go and sort out my stomach. So, more boosters, yeah. Just stick some big solid rocket boosters on the side, yeah. Hang on, you've got detachable pylons. You can have detachable pylons by here with like solids, but big solids on there, and then it gets us off in the water, and then we detach it. But then it sort of defeats the object of bringing stages back to the runway. Because detachable pylons and a big solid rocket motor by there or something. Maybe we just need a bigger plane with more engines. Let's get out. It's going to take too long to stop on the water, so we'll just get out the water. Enjoy time to bed. See you later. Right, see you later, Gary. I'm going to be going in a minute as well. What day is it? It's Wednesday, yes. My cat's birthday on Friday. My cat is 11 years old on Friday. Maybe we could just experiment with seeing how many, just having this static on the runway and seeing how many jet engines or rocket engines we can stick to it to actually make it fly vertically. Even if it crashes, all we need is just enough engines on it, enough thuds on it to get it out of the water. So we could just keep sticking thuds on it until it goes vertical. Until it goes vertical on the runway. So that's the idea. Or just tilt up with engines. Or we can just tilt up with the engines, yeah. Just tilt up with the engines. No, we could always do the experiment with them on those hinges. Yeah, that's entirely. There's probably a simpler way as well. That's probably the simpler way. Just stick them on the hinges, like you said, and then just get the engines to tilt up. We're slowing down, not slowing down enough. True, all thuds to tilt the whole object, yeah. Both even. Alright, anyway, that's something for another time. Let's recover this now. What are we doing? Get it to stop, we'll recover it. Just at the front. Yeah, or just at the front even, yeah. Okay, we'll experiment another time. Come on, load, Kerbal, load. Right, that's 100% value on parts. Done. Alright then. Alright, there's my kitty. She's 11 years old on Friday. Yeah, it's time to go. We've been streaming for 2 hours, 49 minutes and 1 second, and it's 3:19 in the morning. Thank you for being here. Thank you for chatting, Lucas. Gary Blue chatted. We had a few chatters tonight. We had Cryptic. We had Big Sparky. I'll scroll up. Polo Frito. Oh, I play Scandwog. Yeah, they chatted earlier. I missed their chat. Oh, Polish Cow. Just scrolling up through who chatted. Yeah. All right then. We'll work on this again. All right. I'll see you again. Good night. Good morning.